So today, we're going to tackle a topic that is, well, it's absolutely everywhere. Artificial intelligence. You hear about it all the time, right? It's this world of huge promises and, honestly, some pretty big warnings. But what if we could just cut through all that noise, find a clear, simple starting point? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's dive in.
You know, if you've ever felt like the whole AI conversation is just this wall of technical jargon, trust me, you are not alone. It can feel completely overwhelming just trying to jump in. But here's the thing, and this is important. It really doesn't have to be that way.
Okay, so let's start with a really important idea. AI. It isn't some far-off science fiction movie concept. Nope, it's already here. It's woven into our daily lives in ways you probably don't even realize.
I mean, just think about it. When was the last time you asked your phone for the weather or told it to set a timer? Yep, that's AI in action. It's understanding what you're saying and, getting stuff done for you.
Or what about the navigation apps on your phone? The ones you use every day? They're using AI to crunch a massive amount of real-time traffic data from all these different sources just to find you the absolute fastest way to get where you're going. Pretty cool, right?
And hey, when you're finally ready to relax and you fire up your streaming service, those surprisingly good movie recommendations, the ones that just seem to get you, you guessed it, that's AI too. It's learning what you like to watch and trying to suggest your next favorite show.
So what is all this stuff really? What ties it all together? Well, at its heart, AI is really just about making computers smart. See, instead of programming them with a million different rules for every single situation, we can now train them with huge amounts of data. And from that, they learn, they spot patterns, and yeah, they can even make decisions on their own.
Okay, so whenever you hear about AI in the news or online, the conversation seems to swing between two wild extremes, doesn't it? On one side, you've got this incredible, world-changing hype, and on the other, you've got some very real and sometimes scary fear. So let's take a look at both sides of that coin.
So, on the hype side, you hear things like AI is going to solve all of our problems. Climate change, disease, you name it. But the reality is probably a little more down to earth. It's much more likely that AI is going to become this incredibly powerful partner for us, a tool that can take care of all the boring, tedious tasks so we can free up our brains to focus on the creative and strategic thinking that humans do best. But then there's the fear. In this quote, man, it really gets to the heart of it. With the rise of things like deepfakes, we are walking into a world where we might not be able to trust our own eyes or our own ears. I mean, think about that for a second. If anything and everything can be faked, what can we actually believe in?
So, okay, we've got the hype, we've got the fear. It's totally normal to feel a bit overwhelmed by all of it. But what if I told you there's a simple way to start getting your head around this technology? Turns out, it's actually way easier than you might think.
All right, here's a super simple roadmap to get you started. Seriously, step 1, just play around. There are so many free AI tools out there for writing, for making art, all sorts of things. Then try automating one boring task, maybe transcribing a meeting or something. After that, just get curious. Look into how AI is popping up in your own industry. And hey, if you find you're really getting into it, taking a structured course can be a fantastic next step to build your confidence.
And look, you absolutely do not need a computer science degree to do any of this. A lot of these tools are specifically designed for beginners, with really clean, simple interfaces. The whole point is so you can start creating and experimenting right away, without getting bogged down in all the technical details. You really don't have to be an expert to start exploring.
Now, as you start to explore all this, it becomes really important to understand what AI is, and maybe even more importantly, what it isn't. Because this is where a lot of the confusion, the stuff we see in movies, comes from.
Okay, let's just be crystal clear about this. AI does not have feelings. It is not conscious. It might be able to imitate emotions really well because it's been trained on tons of data written by humans, but it's not actually feeling anything. At the end of the day, it's just a very sophisticated pattern-matching machine. That's it.
In fact, the only kind of AI that actually exists today is something called artificial narrow intelligence, or ANI. And that just means that every single AI tool out there is designed for one specific narrow task, like recognizing a face, or translating a language, or playing chess really well. That all-powerful do-anything AI from the movies? Yeah, it just doesn't exist. At least, not yet.
And because AI isn't a thinking mind, it can get things totally wrong. This brings us to a super important concept you need to know about.
AI hallucinations. This is basically when an AI just makes stuff up. It creates an answer that sounds totally convincing, but it's actually completely false, or just fabricated out of thin air.
So what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, it could be an AI giving you the wrong weather forecast, or your bank's AI flagging a totally normal purchase as fraud. Or, and this happens a lot, it might just make up links to web pages or articles that don't even exist. So the big takeaway here, the thing you have to remember, is to always double-check what an AI tells you. Treat it like a starting point, not the final word.
All right, so now that we know AI is this powerful but definitely imperfect tool, let's circle back to that fear we talked about, the fear of fakes and misinformation. Because now, with what we know, we can start to face this challenge with a much clearer perspective.
And this brings us to a really unsettling idea. It's called the liar's dividend. And here's the thing. The danger isn't just that AI can create convincing fakes. The deeper, much more corrosive problem is that the very existence of that technology gives dishonest people an easy way to deny things that are actually real. I mean, you can totally imagine how this would play out, right? Any embarrassing video comes out, any damaging audio recording is leaked, any inconvenient but completely real piece of evidence can just be instantly dismissed. Oh, that's just a deepfake. The very idea that a perfect fake could exist becomes a shield for people to hide behind, and that makes it harder and harder for all of us to agree on what is actually true.
And this is the real immediate threat of AI. It's not some sci-fi movie with killer robots. It's something much quieter, much more insidious. It's the slow erosion of our shared reality. It's an attack on our very ability to agree on what is real and what is not. A future where we end up doubting everything.
So how in the world do we fight back against that? Well, it's not about fighting technology with more technology. The real, deeper defense against a world of fakes is something that's uniquely human, something an AI simply cannot manufacture.
Think about it. AI can process data, it can find patterns, it can generate text and images like you wouldn't believe. But what it can't do, what it can't manufacture, is human judgment, critical thinking, wisdom. As we step into this new world, our own minds are the most important tools we have. The only question left is, how are you going to use yours?